Death Sorcery, the heretical ghost flame at your command and burning with power. Another cool descriptor in this kind of lower voice. Hello, my fellow tarnets of sorcerous desires. Welcome once more. It's been too long since we've had a collection of magic to add to, well, our collection of magic, and this time, well, we're exploring that which is forbidden. Yes, this sorcery not only scales with faith, it is the magic of death, and it's a really incredible set of 5 sorcery spells that give you an entirely new dimension of play. Some of them are utterly awful, and a couple are actually ridiculously good and worth building around. So let's do this thing. The first and earliest you can get is Rancorcall. This is a moderately cheap sorcery with a moderately low requirement. 16 int and 14 faith, and it summons a bunch of lightly, and I do stress lightly, tracking ghosts that will impact the target and do some damage. And again, emphasis on some damage. It's neat, it's an alright filler spell, but it's not the best. But for the sake of a complete death collection, well, of course, we are going to grab it. And where do you grab it? Stormvale Castle. Start by the lift Grace, and we want to head into the deep, dark, secret depths via a light bit of parkour.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Once we get down there, well, you will find yourself a teardrop scarab for you to destroy and claim its prize. And I'll leave you to explore the rest of this area at your own discretion. I will say nothing further. So yeah, as I said, it's just kind of fine. However, its big brother, its upgrade, is absolutely excellent. Ancient Death Rancor. At almost double the cost, 27 FP, and needing 34 int and 24 faith, it definitely does merit the increased requirements. This is a load more spirits, they have much better tracking, much higher damage, and explode in an AoE once they arrive at their target. It also comes with fairly hefty poise damage that can really keep a target locked down for as long as you're spamming it, and it is really spammable. Both this and the previous one are chargeable, so we can godfrey them up for an extra 12%, which is very nice, and yes, you definitely do want to be charging it. But essentially, yeah, this is just an incredibly effective spammy sorcery that you can have as your general bread and butter in a kind of death build. You get this then from a Deathrite bird in Liurnia. You want to head from this Grace here, and it's basically next to it. Obviously make sure that it's night, and once you have beat your target, you will claim the prize that you seek. It's kind of cool, these secret nighttime guardians of death sorcery that we must best and rob in order to take control of their own power. I very much am a fan of it. Third up then in this series of Ancient Death is the Explosive Ghostflame. Very expensive, 41 FP, 42 int and 30 faith, the highest requirement of all of these. And is it worth it? Yes, no, kinda yes. It does a metric ton of damage and leaves behind burning trails of ghost flame to keep doing more damage. The burning trails left behind are always in this sort of star pattern, and it doesn't really affect that much of a bigger area, so you're not going to get that much tickle damage afterwards, but the initial explosion, yeah, it hits like an absolute truck. The only shame is it takes so long to cast, and even after the cast, you feel the need to just keep hunched over and posed. Is everyone dead yet? Is it safe? Like, whatever it is you're fighting has definitely died in one go. Which, if they have, is really badass. But if they've not, is literally offering your back to be stabbed. So, yeah, there's some serious cons to the raw power that this brings. But if you can get it off, as you see, it really is quite effective. So this then is quite late in the game. You get it from the consecrated snowfields, which requires the secret Haligtree medallion. But once you are up here, and at this point I imagine that you are, you want to head to the top left, the apostate derelict site of grace. You'll know you're in the right place when it starts raining hell all around you. I would highly recommend that you bring down this walking mausoleum before engaging in the boss that will drop this sorcery, otherwise it just makes it way harder than it needs to. In any case, head just a little ways down, at night time of course, to the end of this frozen lake, and we will fight our most powerful death right bird yet. This is a 220,000 rune boss, so suddenly nothing to sniff at, but your reward for finally besting it is Explosive Ghostflame, now safe and secure in your collection. Next up on our journey of death is going to be Tibia's summons. This one is fairly easy to get hold of. It's the reward from facing down and emerging victorious with clearly the hardest boss in the game, Tibia Mariner. Specifically, the one in the Windham Ruins, if you just head north from the Erdtree Gazing Hill in the Altus Plateau. This one's a little bit of a step up. He has much bigger skeletons to attack you with, but it's still a Tibia Mariner, and you will get this lovely spell. I say lovely. I really don't know how I feel about it. Thematically, it's fun. At a quite far range, summon 3 ghost soldiers that will all slash in tandem your target, doing a good chunk of damage each, but nothing spectacular. But the thing is, it takes such a long time to go off. It takes such a long time for the hit to happen, and it's so easy to just walk out of. Again, something that's stationary, you're going to have better options, but it's kind of fun. I guess it's flavorful, it's unique. 23 FP, 28 int, and 20 faith. It's just kind of you know. Finally then, we have ourselves Fear's Mist. This is actually really good, specifically against enemy tarnished, so AI invaders, or more accurately PvP. It quite literally releases a huge zone of death blight inflicting mist. It obscures vision, and it builds fairly quickly, and is a fantastic tool for getting people the hell away from you. Only 29 FP, 23 int, and 18 faith, it really is quite nice. It's full of utility. It's niche, don't get me wrong, but you can hold and charge it to double the area it covers, and essentially anyone with no ranged attacks just can't come near you while this is down because they will just die to the death blight, which is really fun to be able to throw out, and it's a really good way to get a breather if a enemy stabby stabber just will not quit. So this, as you might imagine, is from Fear's questline, which is quite the hefty, lengthy questline, but you do get it as a reward for beating Fear's champions just before speaking to her in Deeproot Depths. I will leave a link to the full Fear questline guide we have done down below if you have not been there yet, have no idea, so you can still get it. It's very hard to break this questline, so you're probably still fine, and it is definitely worth doing for all the other rewards too, but of course this final of the 5 death sorceries is amongst them. So that's kind of my general look at them all. Some of them pretty great. Obviously, a big shout out to Ancient Death Rancor. Definitely, I think, the leader of the pack here. Exceptionally potent, spammy sorcery that is so hard to deal with, and in PvE will just burn through enemies while constantly staggering them if they're not, you know, massive. We also have the Ghostflame, which is definitely fun and a good old one and done. Huge explosion and a little bit of a trail after. It's good for catching people out with good timing, and of course, because they are all death sorceries, the Prince of Death staff is going to be your booster for them. Now, this scales off both int and faith, and while at 80 int and 80 faith it's the best glintstone staff in the game, see my video comparing them all for more details. I'll also link that down below. So it's not worth using it just to boost these death sorceries, just to get them just to build around. Just hold it in your left hand and cast normally with whatever glintstone staff you're using in your right. That way you still get the damage boost, but you don't have to commit too heavily to faith to make this glintstone staff work. In any case then, that is your Death Sorcery collection, and I hope it has got you thinking, well, all sorts of deadly things. I will return soon with even more sorceries and sorceress wisdom, but until then, please subscribe and hit the bell for more tips, tricks, guides, location, builds, funny bits, you know the drill, and like if you have indeed enjoyed this. Please consider supporting this channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.